Hey, you guys, it's Miss T here. I want to talk to you about our next film assignment, which is stop motion. And I want to go over some very basic things to help you get started with your editing. The first thing you're going to need to do is, of course, log into WeVideo. And when you do, you're going to notice that the screen looks a little bit different. Don't be intimidated by that. If you click around, you're going to figure things out pretty quickly. But from this basic login screen that you see, the home screen here, if you click on New, we're going to go to creating a video because our stop motion is going to be a video or a film project. I'm going to save mine in my project and I'm going to start editing. When I do that, it's going to open up a brand new project for me. And it's going to have a default name of my project. Okay, you can later change that name if you choose to. The next thing that we need to do is, of course, get started by getting your stop motion images, those 150 or more images that you took, into your media resource pool. Now, you already have some media in this resource pool from your last film, but what I'd like you to do for this new assignment so that it looks a little more organized is I'd like you to please do a right click. And when you do that, inside of the actual media pool here, it's going to give you the option to create a new folder. So I'm going to click on New Folder, and I'm going to name this folder Stop Motion. And I like doing it this way because then it creates a little bit of organization, and then you don't have random photos in your main media resource area. So after I do that, I'm going to click on the folder. And when I first click on it, obviously it's empty right now. And so what I have to do is I'm going to put my images into that folder. To do that, I'm going to be importing my images. So you can see the little import button. And I'm importing my images from my Google Drive. Now, that obviously means that you have to have already placed your images into your Google Drive. All right. Now, I showed you guys how to do that in a previous tutorial. I will put the link to that in today's activity as well if you've forgotten how to get images from your phone into your Google Drive. But I've got mine in my Google Drive already, and they're in my photo images folder that I have in my Google Drive. When I click that open, you're going to notice that I have subfolders in my Google Drive, one being labeled Stop Motion. So I'm going to open my Stop Motion folder. And when I do that, you're going to see that I have a series of images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that first image, hold down the Shift key, and then I'm going to go all the way to the bottom and click the second or the last image. When I do that, it's going to basically select all of these for me to now upload into WeVideo. When I do that, it's going to tell me what I'm doing, and I'm going to go OK. Now, this part of it does take a little bit of time because you have to wait for these to upload. If you're here at school doing your editing, it's going to probably go a little bit faster. They do have a really good Wi-Fi usually, or internet speeds usually. But as this is uploading, I want to point out to you guys that having your folders in your Google Drive labeled is going to make things a lot easier and a lot faster when you go to do any of your edits for your films. So if you've not done that, you should try to already do that. The next thing that we're going to do after these files finish uploading is that we are going to have to make sure that they're in the correct order. Now, my files are already loading in the correct order, and that's because I've already done some presets with my sort media keys over here. And I want to talk to you guys just a little bit about this, because what this does is it makes sure that all of your images that are coming into your folder are in the right order. And so how does it work? Well, if you click on this and take a look at it, you're going to see that it gives you some ways that you can organize your media, or it could be video clips, or it could be your images. In our situation, we're dealing with photographs. And so I'm organizing these by the name. That's the file name. So all of my images are named file and then a number. And then I want my images in what's called ascending order. That means I want the lowest number to the highest number. So mine is set on this scenario, and that's the way that you should have yours set. It might be set for something else. Just double click on name, or click on name and click on ascending. And you want to do that for every one of those. every kind of movie that we ever make. You want it usually in the correct order. Okay. And so now if I look through and just double check before I move anything that all of my images are in the correct order, that I can use them. Now, let's say that you forgot to do that and they're out of order when you upload them into this folder. All you would have to do is select the first image, hold down the shift key, come to the bottom one like that, so they're all selected. Then go to your sort media key, and you could do it at this point as well. You'd click name and ascending. And so that's all you have to do. Now that I have all of my images selected, I'm going to bring them down into video one timeline. Okay, I'm going to leave a little bit of space in front of it because I know I'm going to have my title. When I let go of that to put my images on that video timeline, this screen is going to pop up that says photo options. It is really important that at this point you come in and change the time display, the seconds of display. I'm going to advise you to change it to 0.2 seconds. You can later come in and adjust that and change it if you choose to, but 0.2 seconds is a good starting point for stop motion films. Then I'm going to click done. Now, once you do that, you're going to notice that the actual spacing of these is really, really small. It's really short. I can do a preview now to make sure that there are no gaps and that things run smoothly by clicking. And it's going to show me kind of how they span, and I can decide, hey, is that too slow? Is that too fast? What do I want to do? Okay. After you've done that section, that's the hardest part. If you had other film clips, maybe there was a clip that you did of maybe someone drinking the soda before they put the bottle down and then it spun, maybe that would go in front of this. You would insert that here on your timeline. If you had something after this, like maybe someone knocked over the Pepsi and it spilled, you could put that clip here after this. So you can put any additional clips in with the photographs. It all works out just great. Don't forget also that part of the criteria that you need to add for this particular film is you need to have your title credits, okay? Title section and your credits section. So you can have your title up on video too if you choose to. If you're going to have transitions, you could do it in front of this here, but you would obviously go to text. And when you do that, that's going to give you options to choose from for making your title slide, your title screen. So maybe this is what I'm going to use, or maybe I like this one. It's kind of whatever you like. Maybe this is the one that I choose. And so I'm going to pull it. I can either pull it here and put it in front, and then I can squish these together later. I can move it over. I can extend this and make it longer if I chose to. And then obviously I have to edit this now. And so if I'm on this clip on the title section, I'm going to need to come in and do some edits. And so the edits would be changing the wording to give it my actual title. So if you take your cursor and move it so that you now have this come up, you can come in and go to Open Editor. And when it does, it's going to give you, hey, the options of you can choose colors, you can change any of the colors that you want. So maybe I want to go with the standard red, white, and blue, maybe to match my Pepsi can. And maybe that red's a little too brownish. You can adjust it over here. You can make these changes as you go. So maybe this is kind of the red that I want. And maybe here I want a blue. So you can get as creative with this as you want. And maybe this will be maybe a lighter blue. Maybe we'll do some stuff with lighter blue. And then over here, my cat's getting into things. And then over here, we could change these. And then you would obviously change the title to stop motion or whatever you wanted to call it, whatever the name of your film is. And then, of course, you can adjust the timing. So after you do that, you would just save the changes, and that would give you your title section. Then we would come in at the end, and of course, we would have to have your credits. So that's going to be at the very end. And I'm not going to show you how to do that again. But then the next thing you would have to do is, of course, if you wanted a soundtrack to accompany this or to do some kind of narration. So we could go to audio. And of course, you can experiment with all of the sound effects. You could do the free music. So looking these, get any kind, if we're going to do something like this, put it in here. And then, of course, you would have to crop it to the right length. So you could do any of that. In addition to that, you could also, of course, record a narration to go with it. And so obviously if you wanted to do that kind of thing, you would keep going. Oh, and I forgot to mention that we do have these great kind of premium musics also that you could use. So you would choose any of those, place them down in here, or do your recording. And that is the gist of the editing that you would need to do, you guys. The editing for stop motion is much quicker. That's why you're only getting 2 days to do these edits. So use this to help you get started, and then I want you to try and be really creative with these. All right? Have fun, and I look forward to watching your films.